Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the final round of the 2011 Grand Prix for Offline Championship, round 19, the Brazilian Grand Prix at the Interlagos circuit. I am your host for today, George Drake, your host for the season, and welcome to what is going to be a fascinating last round of the season. But first of all, let's go through some of the information before the race. So the drivers with grid penalties is Sean Grant. He's the only one with a grid penalty, 10th place grid penalty at that. The race rating for Abu Dhabi was given a 7.3, with the driver of the day tie between Robert Ionescu and Rifki Farkas-Zain. And the team news for both Lotus, which will become catering for next season, and Virgin is that they have kept Roman Quark, but they have signed their Lotus GP2 driver Ollie Glazebrook as driver for 2012. Virgin, which will become Marussia, have kept Sean Grant, but have signed Zachary Fitzwater, the Australian, who had a good season in GP2. So it is changed for two of the seats at those two different teams. It means Michael Mocho, who is not in a seat next season, but you'll find out about test drivers and whatnot in another video. But anyway, these are the four title contenders. Florian Volk leading with 91 points. James Willows second with 85. Joseph Willows got himself right back into it on 84 after winning in Abu Dhabi last time out. And Evan Byrne, who has to hope that he wins and that Volker, Willows, and both Willows brothers, I should say, and Volker do not score any points whatsoever. Who is going to take the win? And who's going to take, I should say, the championship of this race? We don't know what is going to happen with the rest of the drivers. They'll be fighting amongst themselves for whatever position in the championship they can, or for bragging rights or whatnot. So this should be a fascinating race. So I am very much looking forward to this one, as I imagine you guys are. So it's going to be a fascinating race. Will the weather throw up any some predictabilities? This should be interesting to see. Will there be any mechanical failures, crashes, you name it? Anything can happen at Brazil. It is Interlagos. It happens every year. And anyway, we are now on the grid. So Waze Kuba took his first and only pole position of the season, with James Williams crucially qualifying in second, Miguel Ascal in third place, Florian Volker in fourth, Evan Byrne in fifth, with Lucas Levi qualifying a very impressive sixth for Sauber, as he is set to go back to GP2 for next season. Joseph Willows is in 7th place with Armar Carr, a good qualifying from him in 8th place. 9th place is Felix Ontag, followed by Jamie Kenzie in 10th. As we go further down the order, on the 6th row of the grid is Alex Southgate and George Roque for Renault. 13th place is Viggo Holst, followed by Robert Ionescu in 14th. As we go further down the order on to the 8th row of the grid, we have Alan Wolff and Bruno de Barros on what will be his final race for Virgin, as he is taking a break from the series in 2012. Radim Moitin is in 17th place, followed by Sam Thompson, 18th. On the 10th row of the grid, we have Rifki Farkas-Zain and Michael Mocho without a seat for next season. And as we go to the last row of the grid, we have Roman Quark, who is keeping his seat at Lotus and to become catering for next season, and Sean Grant, who will keep his seat at Virgin. So that is the grid for the final race of the season, 71 laps here at Interlagos. What is the weather going to be? And as you can see here, it is going to be dry for the start, but as we go about half an hour into the race, the rain will come, and when it gets to the hour mark, it will rain fairly hard. So this should be a fascinating race. So it's going to be a dry, wet race. So it will be very, very interesting to see how it plays out. Will Volker take the championship to make himself the first double champion in the OC? We shall see. Will James Willows recover it back after seemingly being out of it with those 4 consecutive race wins in a row? Will Joseph Willows play a part in it? And will Evan Byrne take an unbelievable championship win? We are underway here in Brazil, and who is going to take the lead coming into turn 1? Is it going to be Kuba or James Willows? Who has made the best start? It looks like, is it going to be Kuba or is it going to be James Willows? Willows is on the inside. Has he got it? And Kuba's round the outside, but Willows is on the inside, but he makes it round the outside and even takes the lead of the race. What a start. And Miguel Ascal's in third. Waze Kuba's dropped down to second. He's got a lot of fuel in his car, and so is Volker, I think that is in 4th place. But Volker now already making a move past Miguel Ascal for third. Looks like everyone's avoided contact, but he backs out of it as they come into turn 4. And it looks like that Volker stays behind Gal. There's Lucas Levi in 5th, Evan Byrne in 6th, there's Willows in 8th. And Mackenzie Knight, Roque 10th, Holst 11th, Sontag 12th. And as they go through the rest of the field, it looks like everyone has so far avoided contact. Bruno de Barros there dropped to the back. He's not made a good start, but Kuba, with that heavy fuel load, looks like to be already holding up Miguel Ascal and Florian Volker behind. Volker needs to get past these guys ASAP, but at the moment it would be good enough for him to take the title with it if the race just stopped right now. But he doesn't want that. He wants to get the win, a podium. He wants to at least better James Willis' result. here as they come down to complete the first lap. It's always a very quick lap. Forget how quick this lap is, as they now come onto the back straight. Q is already holding up Gal and Volker, and Willows up front has got a decent gap ahead of him. This is exactly what he needed. And here we are on board with Volker, but Gal is going to be right behind Cooper as he makes a move coming down the front straight into the centre races for the first time. As James Willows set the fastest lap, Gal's on the inside. Cooper tries to force him towards the wall, but Gal makes the move stick, and he's done it. He's into second place, and he makes the move stick, and now Cooper's already going to be under attack from Volker and Levi behind him. Good race so far by Lucas Levi as they come now into turn 4, and it looks like Volker's going to try and make a move easy, and Cooper defends to the inside. Levi's right behind, so is Evan Byrne, and Volker has to back out of it, and now he's got Levi and Byrne for company. And the Toro Rosso in the back. Joseph Willis is in 8th. This is not what he needed. He needs to get up the order at the moment if he wants to get anything out of this race. Here we are on board with Lucas Levi, who's just dropping off a little bit from Florian Volker in front of him, who's stuck behind Cooper at the moment as they come down onto the front straight, coming past the crowd. And now Volker makes a move on the inside, going past the pit entry, and Byrne is making a move past Levi as well for 5th place. It's side by side, and Byrne is on the inside, and so is Volker of Cuba. And is Volker going to make the move stick? And he does. That's crucial for the championship. It's looking good for him at the moment. We're only 3 laps in, but you never know what could happen, as Byrne has made it past Levi, and now he's already on the back of Cuba. Cuba dropping like a stone here. This high fuel load situation doesn't look like it's particularly working for him at the moment, and Byrne is making a move for the inside, and he doesn't quite make it stick. And now he's got Lucas Levi for company behind, Armor Carr behind there in 7th, and Joseph Willis in 8th. Now here we are on board with, I believe this is Bruno. Is this Bruno de Barros? Or is it no, it's Sean Grant, I should say, who makes a move past Felix Sontag in the Mercedes. Interestingly enough, he seems to be struggling for pace at the moment. There's Ricky Farquharson, who is right behind. This is not the race that Sontag wanted at the moment. It's just not going very well for him as Grant makes the move as they come now into the infield section, as Sontag goes slightly wide onto the curves there. He's really struggling, and he does also have a heavy fuel load, so it's the same with Kuba, but he seems to really be struggling at the moment. It is not going his way. As you can see, coming into the double right hander, the very fast right hander, you can see he just gets a little bit of understeer there, and he goes over the curves, and he struggles to really turn the car, but he manages to control it and keep it on the road, but he is really struggling. Here's that car at the moment. He's got Ricky Farquharson and Adam Wolf right behind him to overtake him if he makes another mistake, as now Sontag excuse me, trying to hold back the guys behind him. As now here is Volker, who's in 3rd place, and now Kubu is now already being caught by Lucas Levi for 6th place. He could drop 6 positions, or 5 positions I should say, in 5 laps, and now will be 6 as Levi is making a move on the inside of Kuba coming into turn 1. And does he make the move stick? And yes, he does. Kuba's strategy is not working out for him at the moment. It is looking very good for James Willows out front. And now there's a whole bunch of cars just coming through there. Through the first corner. Willows has dropped all the way down to 12th. He was 8th a lap or 2 ago. So what's happened there? So what is going on there? So Willows is being overtaken on the inside by Viggo Holst, with George Roque and Robert Ionescu right behind as well, coming into turn 1. So Holst made the move stick on Willows, and Robert Ionescu got past all 3 of them there. That's an incredible move. Just out of absolutely nowhere, he made the move stick, and Willows eventually dropped behind George Roque, and he's got now Alex Southgate behind him as well. But that's a fantastic move there by Robert Ionescu. Managed to make a great move, and he's moved up, I think, 3 positions in that. Well done to him, but Willows, it is not looking good for him. Joseph Willows, I should say, it is not looking good for him at the moment. Down in 12th place, nowhere near where he needs to be. As now Holst is pressuring Robert Ionescu in front of him as they come into the double right hand into the infield section. It's looking good for the moment, Willows and Volker, but especially for Volker. He's running in 3rd, so this will be enough for him to win the championship. As Santos gone wide again, he goes over the curb and he spins, and he's lucky not to be hit by the Lotus there, but he's dropped all the way down to last place. That is not what he needed at all, and it's just been a disastrous start of the race for Felix Santos. That heavy fuel load is really affecting him at the moment. You can see, let's see what happens as he comes through the first round. He just went well. He had so much understeer there, and he just couldn't get it back. He went on the grass, and that just set him off. He was so lucky there not to hit the Lotus. I'm quite surprised he didn't hit it there. We can have a look from the slow motion replay how he didn't hit that. So it was fairly close, not that close, but still could have easily caught him. And spins across the track, lucky not to get hit by the other Lotus there of Michael Mocho. But Sontag rejoins in last place. It's been a pretty poor race from him so far, not what he wanted. And now here we are looking at Robert Ionescu making a move on his teammate Armor Carr. both drivers will be moving from Toro Rosso next season. Robert Ionescu moving to Sauber, whereas Amar Khan will be moving to Force India, and Robert Ionescu makes the move stick for 7th place. Car down to 8th. A little bit of bragging rights here, a little bit of a team battle there. It'll be interesting to see how that goes coming to the end of the race. Here we are on board with Roman Quag, who's running in 18th, and he's got a throttle problem, and that is not good for Quag, who will be staying at Lotus, but known as Caterham next season. And will he make it back to the pits? That's not what he wanted at all. And Quag, unfortunately, he's going to have to go to the pits for that, but Lotus blighted with mechanical problems this year. Not really surprised considering they are at the back. As now, let's have a look what happened here. So Quag, who was trying to get back to the pits, and Mocho is going on the inside there, and they nearly collided. I don't know what was going on there, but that was just really, really weird. Quag maybe didn't see Mocho there, but Mocho forced his way down the inside there, and there he was. And Quag certainly wasn't expected that. There was so nearly contact there. And Mocho, wow, that was very, very close. That could have been another pretty bad collision with the Lotuses, who collided so much with themselves and with everyone else this season. But Quag goes in the pits and gets it repaired, so he makes it back. But he will now be dead last, and I imagine probably he'll be a lap down, I reckon. I think the leaders probably will be going down the back straight by now, as Quag goes out of the pits as he comes through the long pit exit. And now we look at James Willows, who's making his first stop at the Grand Prix. So it looks like for him, it is going to be a 3-stop. So let's see if that is going to work out for him as he goes into the pits. So let's see where he will come out. It'll be interesting to see if he comes out in free air or traffic. Red Bull trying something with him here. He had a comfortable lead out front. He took the lead and he had a decent gap to Nicolas Gal behind him. So let's see how that works out for him. And let's see how quick his stop will be. It's 11.2 seconds stop. And where does he come out on track? Will be interesting to know. So he's down to 7th. Will he drop out of the points? Drops down to 8th. Will he drop down any more places? Drops down to behind Mackenzie, behind Roke. And let's see where he comes out. Will he come out in traffic? He drops down to 11th behind Holst. So there's a bunch of cars. So I don't think that's worked out particularly well. As now Evan Byrne makes a move on Volker for 2nd place. But for James Willows, he came out behind that gaggle of Roke and the two Lotuses. So I don't think that has particularly worked out for Willows very well. I don't know if he's actually got past them or not. Here's Robbie Ionescu in 6th place, but we saw Byrne overtaking him. And here is Willows, who's now finally getting past Jay McKenzie for 8th place. But he doesn't actually. He doesn't quite get past there, so it's affected him quite badly there. So, oh dear me, that has not worked out well for him at all. As now Lucas Levi comes in for his first pit stop of the race. He's had a great race so far. And let's see where he comes out. But he's had a good race. He won't be racing in the top tier next season. Some people had questioned his driving, his driving standards, because it hasn't been great at times this season. He scored 2 points finishes so far in, I believe it was the European Grand Prix in Valencia. He got 7th, and in Korea got his best finish with 6th. So it proves that he can and does have the pace to score points. So he comes out. It's a 13.2 second stop, so quite long there for Levi. So he will come out, looks like, down in around 14th or 15th place. Amar Khan comes in for his first pit stop of the race. I imagine he'll be going for a 2-stop, 38 litres. So that is quite a long stint. So, but no, he'll be going to around about the lap 55 mark, I reckon. Probably the late lap 50 region, I think. Rifki Farkazane coming in for a pit stop. Let's see how quick this stop will be for the Indonesian driver. As there goes Car, goes out of the pits. As Wolf is also in as well for Williams. Car comes out in 17th. Farkazane comes out of his pit box. Wolf comes out in 21st. We actually, I believe, still have all 22 cars left in this race at the moment. We've been at 23 laps as well, so that's pretty impressive so far in Brazil. I was expecting maybe a crash or so. But it'll be interesting to see what happens when the wet weather comes, of course. As Nicolas Gal at the moment is in the lead, and he looks like to be going on the 2-stop. So let's see how that works out. You see clouds are starting to gather a bit, so I reckon it won't be long until the rain starts coming soon. As Ionescu comes in through his pit box, and let's see how quick this stop will be. He runs in 7th, he drops down a few positions, changes tyres, fuels 29 litres in the tank, so he'll go on another stint, but I reckon he'll be pitting sooner than that. When the rain comes, I reckon it's probably in a few laps' time, I reckon it'll start raining. It surely won't be too long now, as it said it would rain about the half an hour mark, and I reckon we're probably near enough that stage by now. As now Jamie Kenzie comes into the pits for Renault. He's had a mixed season. I mean, it's not been the greatest season for Mackenzie. I mean, he has had, unfortunately, spates of bad luck which have blighted him in this series, especially last season in 2010. But this season, especially at the start, it blighted him a lot, such as the Sean Grant incident in Hungary. But he has scored points this season. He scored a best finish of 4th. So it proves that he can compete. At the moment, he's, I think, narrowly losing the teammate battle to his teammate George Roke. In qualifying, he has actually beaten his teammate over the season, having performed a lot stronger in qualifying over the second half of the season, which has helped him do that. So, as obviously he and Roke will be staying at Renault for next season, along as we look at Nicolas Gao coming out the pits. He's done a 12.2 second stop as Kuba's gone out on track, and I believe that was James Willows. So Nicolas Gao is going to come back on track, and he is going to come out crucially ahead of James Willows. So when Waze Kuba and Florian Volker pit, Gao will take back the lead. So that strategy, unfortunately, has not worked out very well for James Willows at all, and that is not what he needs if he wants to win the charity. And here is George Roke now trying to get past the Williams of Adam Wolff as they come into turn 4. Will Roke make it stick? Not quite. He's just alongside Wolff. It's side by side coming through the left-hander. Roke alongside. Will he try and go around the outside coming into the right-hander, coming into the infield? And it looks like Roke is going to do it, and he does. That's a great move there. You don't really see many cars try and do that, do you? Now here is Viggo Holst now trying to make a move on Wolff, trying to overtake him like Roke has, and he's side by side, and surely he's got past Thompson coming into turn 1, and Holst in the inside. He nearly has a little bit of a collision there, gets away with it, and he makes the move stick, and Sean Grant is now right behind. Now here is Nicolas Gao, who is right behind the Ferrari of Waze Kuba, and now he's going to overtake him coming into turn 1. It's side by side. Gao surely got the move sewn up, and yes, he does. He makes the move stick, and he is up into second place. Kuba, who is still yet to pit, I believe, so he will be doing the one stop. At the moment, it's not particularly working out well for him, but now into the pits comes James Willows. Actually, Waze Kuba decides to come in as well, so James Willows will need to make another stop, but Kuba actually decides to go to the end. So I don't know why actually James Willows didn't decide to do the same thing there. I think that could cost. And Kuba comes out just ahead of Willows there, and that holds him up a little bit. But I think Red Bull could have made a mistake there. They could have tried to fuel into the end like Kuba, although it would have been a lot on, probably would have been slow. I think it probably would be the better strategy at the moment in time if he wants to get anything out of this race. But we'll see how quickly he clears Kuba. Is now, are they going to come out? I think behind Willows, and Levi battling each other, and Kuba just comes out behind them, and so does James Willows. That's not worked out well for either of them, but especially not for James Willows. That's not what he needed at all. For Volker, it's just all slowly going his way at the moment. Everything does seem to be going his way, as now Kuba is attacking his teammate Joseph Willows coming into turn 1. Is he going to make the move stick? And yes, he does. And now the Red Bull behind of James Willows going to try and attack his brother here. They're both in title contention here, so I imagine neither of these two will want to let up at all. As now here is Volker coming into the pits, and you can see there, I think on the screen, you can see the rain is starting to come down. So actually my prediction of rain was a fair bit off, I have to say. But anyway, so Volker now comes down into third place, and he does a nearly a 13-second stop. Comes out in third. Will he come out ahead of Southgate? He's going to come out behind Byrne. I believe that is Byrne that's just going past him, is it? I'm not sure. I know actually it wasn't Sean Grant near Southgate, actually, and he just comes out in front. So all going very well for Volker at the moment. Everything seems to be going his way. Volker, who's only won 2 races this season, but he's leading the championship due to the fact that he has been very, very consistent, and he's done very well. As you can see, the rain now clearly on the lens now, so it won't be long before the guys have to come in for another stop, as now James Willows is attacking his brother Joe coming into turn 4. Is he going to make it stick? And yes, he does, and his brother just lets him through quite comfortably there, so he doesn't feel like James Willows that he's in title contention. It's mainly between Volker and James Willows, the 2 Red Bull drivers, and James makes his move stick. Now he's going to try and attack James Willows' teammate Waze Kuba, and Moitin's out, and finally we have the first retirement of the race. On lap 42, we've gone a long way, but unfortunately, Roland Moitin, full force India, looks like his engine has blown, and the first retirement of the race is him. That is very unfortunate there for the Hungarian driver, and he's going to be out the races now. Holst has to go around him, and so does Roke, and he goes into the wall, going into turn 1. A very unfortunate retirement there for Roland Moitin. Not what he needed. He's not had a particularly brilliant season. He'll be moving to Williams, of course, for next year, alongside Adam Wolff. as obviously he's being replaced at 4 senior by Amar Khan and obviously Kurosama De Rosa. And so it should be very interesting to see how those two get on. But Moichin, whose car at the moment is just laying stationary at turn 1, didn't seem to be at the moment any marshals that are coming to help him. So his car's being left there at the moment in a bit of a dangerous position. Well, I suppose not too dangerous, but still could be threatening as the rain still continues to come down. So still waiting for the marshal to come and get him. And now I believe I just saw him coming through the smoke, and there he is finally. Moichin's car is getting pushed away. So let's see where the problem originated for Moichin as we look on the replay. And it looks like, was it at the infield part of the track? So it seemed to be okay there. He was running in 13th. He had actually just made his pit stop, I believe. So he was going before another stop. And you can see he suffered an engine problem. And it looks like it probably might have gone. And obviously it went as they went onto the main straight. So at the moment, doesn't look like there's any. I don't think there's any smoke coming out the back. Oh wait, no, I think there was, and now the smoke actually just starts appearing at the back of the car. And obviously, when it goes onto the straight, it completely blows up. But the problem was obviously terminal, and Moichin was not going to be able to get to the pits. So as you see, coming onto the straight, and just as he's now getting passed by the McLaren, as he now comes onto the straight. And there it goes. The engine then goes there. You can see the car is just slowly starting to slow down. And eventually he does pull off coming into turn 1. But an unfortunate retirement there for Roland Moichin. Not been a fantastic season for him. But unfortunately the luck on his side hasn't gone exactly his way very much either. As his car goes into the wall. The tyre goes into the tyres. As we look now at the Williams of, I believe this is Sam Thompson, who's now attacking Roman Quagg, going into turn 1, and he makes the move stick, and he does complete it, as Sam Thompson obviously will be going to Toro Rosso for next season, move which has surprised a few people in the paddock due to the fact that he's actually not scored a point this season, which has certainly been disappointing this season for Williams. It's just not been their season, but he will be getting a Toro Rosso seat anyway. Joseph Willows is making his stop, and I don't know why he's going for dries, because the rain at the moment is still coming down, although it is not making the track wet enough, as you can clearly see. But so I wonder if the Ferrari team will come to regret that. They probably would have wanted to have maybe waited probably about 2-3 laps, when I reckon the track will now start to get damp. As now Joseph Willows, I should say, comes out of the pits. That will probably cost him a few positions, but at the moment he doesn't really look in title contention. As now here is James Willis, who's now attacking Waze Kuba. He's going to try and make a move around the outside. He can't quite do it, but Kuba defends staunchly from James Willis. But now surely Willis is going to try and make a move coming into turn 4. Is he going to have the slipstream? Is he going to try and attack him? No, he's a bit far away, so he can't quite make the move stick there. So now here is James Willis. You can see the track is starting to get a little bit wetter, so the rain clearly hasn't been coming down that hard. It's been coming down very lightly. And James Willis now makes a move on Lucas Levi. Levi goes a bit wide, but James Willows makes the move stick, and Levi's pulled off, and Levi's got an issue, and Lucas Levi, just after he got overtaken there, just pulled off with a problem there. Oh dear, that's a shame for Levi. He was having a really good race, and unfortunately the car has just broken down on him suddenly there. Just seemed quite weird, the fact that just as soon as he overtook him, the car just completely went, and it was a transmission failure for Levi. Just suddenly went out of absolutely nowhere. Really, really bizarre there for Lucas Levi, who's looking good for some points probably. And just as he came around the second half of the Center S's, the transmission just went there, and the problem occurred, and he had to pull off the track, and he hits the car into the wall in anger at the fact the car has just died on him suddenly for no apparent reason. So he'll be disappointed, as he could have gotten some more points today. And now is the time for intermediate tyres, as Robert Ionescu puts them on. So as you can see, the track is now pretty wet at the moment. Roman Quagg is set to come in and change. I imagine now pretty much everyone is going to come in and change. Roman Quagg comes in for Lotus, but will any of the front runners try and go a lap longer on dries? But I don't think they probably would. As you can see, the rain is coming down at a pretty significant rate, and Quagg comes in. So it looks like Willows and Mackenzie have stayed out on track. Will Amar Khan and Ricky Parker then go into the pits? And it looks like they're not. They're staying out on track for another lap. So let's have to see what the pace of Ionescu is like compared to these guys on the dry tyres. But I think now, you can see the track is clearly very, very wet. Now is clearly the time to go to intermediates. As now George Rote is getting involved in this battle here. As now Florian Volker and Evan Byrne do make pit stops for intermediate tyres. At the moment, Volker will win the championship as things go. Is looking very good for him at the moment as he pits. And does he have to wait for any more cars? I believe, don't know if he has had to or not, as Volker comes out onto the track and he comes out in second. So I believe he's actually jumped Evan Byrne. Evan Byrne's had to wait for a few cars. So Florian Volker has crucially jumped Evan Byrne in the pit stops. Byrne at the moment, who is out of title contention because he needs to win and needs everyone else on the front three, Joseph Willers, James Willers, and Volker, not to score points, and that is just not happening at the moment. As now James Willers comes in for a set of winter tyres, and he will be fueled to the end. That three-step strategy hasn't worked out for Willers, unfortunately, and that could come to cost him in the end. As now James Willers comes out of his pit box. Will he have to wait for any cars? No, he doesn't. And he makes the move stick. He makes the move stick out of the pits. He doesn't get stuck, I should say. As Willows comes in, as Cooper gets slightly held up there by Alex Southgate coming into the pits. Mikhail Skal, the leader of the race, haven't really seen him much so far. And he now comes in. As now Southgate comes out of his pit box. Oh no, he doesn't. He has to wait for the Virgin there to go out. And actually go out on track as well as outside of the house. As now Mikhail Skal comes in to make a pit stop. Let's see how quickly this stop will be. He goes to Inters and he will go to the end of the race. And let's see where he goes. And Joseph Willers now comes in for his final stop. At the moment, he's outside of contention because he at the moment is scoring no points, and that is not what he needs for the end of the race. As now Joseph Willers comes out, 6.9 second stop. Omar Carr's now in the pits, and Robbie Inescu has actually moved up all the way to 4th, so that pit stop for intermediates has worked out very well for him indeed. Vigor Host now comes into the pits for Force India, and now so does Omar Carr, and I believe that is Rifi Farquharson who is in front of him, and yes it is. So all these guys now pitting for Inters. They'll have 1 lap fresher Inters than the rest around them, but will that affect them for the end of the race? Volker at the moment in second place is looking pretty good for him though. George Roke, I think one of the last ones to pit for intermediate tyres. So I wonder if that has helped him or affected him. I imagine that probably would have affected him more than helped him, because I mean the track, as you can see there, is pretty damn wet. And let's see where he comes out on track. At the moment he's dropped down to 10th place. He's out of the points. I don't think I can see him getting points in this race. And let's see where he comes out in 8.9. He's still in 10th place, but I imagine he'll drop further positions. He drops behind Holst. And I believe he might drop another couple of positions in a minute if he's not careful. Rifi Farquharson goes past. Will Omar Carr go past? I'm not sure, but it looks like Roke might get out ahead of him. And now Rifi Farquharson's gone off, and Rifi Farquharson has spun. And that is actually quite an unusual place to spin. That is just coming down to the final corner. I haven't really actually ever seen anyone spin off there before. But Farquharson just got a lot of understeer, lost it. As you can see, the rain has in fact stopped, it seems, so it is not raining anymore. But we'll see if the track does dry up before the end of the race. But that was quite a bizarre spin for Farquharson. I've never seen anyone else spin off there before, but he has done. And any chance of points that he possibly did have now evaporated completely. Now he is George Roke, who's now who's being lapped there. I think by that is Florian Volker. Now he tries to go past the Toro Rosso there, but Michael Mocho just sneaks past there. What a move by Michael Mocho. He sneaks past Roke because he was stuck behind the traffic. So let's see what happened there. So Roke tried to get past the inside of Carr there as he was being lapped, and Mocho took advantage of that as they all got held up, and Mocho just snuck around the outside. A very good move, very sneaky move there from Michael Mocho, very slick indeed. And now Roke is right behind Mocho, so he actually is looking to pass him straight away. And now he's on the inside of Mocho, coming down the back straight, and he's going to make the move stick, coming into the first corner side by side. And does he make it stick? And the answer is yes, he does. And now Adam Wolf is right behind. And now Roke's off, and George Roke is off the track. And what's happened there? And you can see as they come around, and no, there's contact with Carr. And there was contact with Carr coming out of the hairpin there, and that launched Roke well down off the track. Let's have a look at that again. So Roke was coming through. Omar Carr went a bit wide. Roke tried to get on the inside, and then it looked like Carr moved over on, I think, Roke there, and he lost his front wing, and he goes way off track there, right in the middle of the infield, in pretty much like the middle of nowhere. Just a couple of palm trees all by himself. Let's have a look. So you can see coming out the corner, and you can see Carr clearly does seem to move in front of Roke there, which then forces him off the track. And there he goes. He goes interesting through the wall. It's an invisible wall. It's not real. And he goes off into the infield there. And that is not what he wanted at all. That is not the way that Roke wanted to end his season. But now he'll have to go back to the pitch. You can see Carr clearly does move his car. Excuse the pun. Over on Roke there, and kind of forces him off there. Roke, unfortunately, didn't really have anywhere to go. Didn't really have any time to react to it there. But Roke goes off. So we'll have another look at it again to see if anything will happen about that. But you can see clearly at full time, you can see Carr does move over. Even in normal time, he does move over, even when it is shown clearly in slow motion. But that is not what George Roke needed at all, as his car is now at the moment stranded in the infield, and he's trying to get going. But the grass, I imagine, is probably very, very slippery. But he does go through the wall, but he, for some reason, doesn't decide to go back onto the normal bit of the track where he was supposed to. So I don't really know what Roke is doing at the moment, but he's probably just showing off to the fans now, knowing that he can't get anything out of this race. Does a couple of, well, does a half a donut, maybe a donut, could you call it that, if that? Oh, I don't know, but, oh dear me, I don't know what's going on with Roke here. He's stopped the car again. Maybe he's having problems stalling it or whatnot, but he now seems to have got it going. Or can he control it? And he stops again. And, I don't know what's going on here with Roke. He's struggling to get it going. He's trying to see the car's just moving ever so slightly. The grass is obviously very wet and slippery. And now he does get it going, and he finally does rejoin. Looks like, is he going to rejoin back on the track? And yes, he does. He's now down to 20th, so it's pretty much kind of utterly pointless for Roke now. And now he comes through the left-hander. He'll have to go in the pits, but he is now dead last, so the race is pretty much irrelevant. So I don't think there'll be any point in continuing, but he'll go in the pits and change his wing anyway and just finish the last few laps of this race. That was quite a bizarre spin, to say the least. I mean, bizarre incident. It was a bit like the Hamilton-Vettel incident in Baku, really. What happened there? I mean, that was just really, really bizarre. As now Roke comes into the pits, and he will pit for a new front wing. And, well, I mean, he's probably lost, I don't know, you could say he might have lost a bit of dignity after that, but he's probably just showing off for the fans. The fans certainly seem to enjoy it. At the moment, they're happy that their local hero, Bruno de Barros, is still running at the moment in 19th place. Although in 19th, he is still at least running in his races. Now Roke finally comes out, and now on that is Omar Carr, I think, who's spun off. And where is that? That looks to be at turn 4. And what's happened there? So he's being lapped by Waze Cooper, and Wolf passed Carr, took advantage of that. And then coming in, oh, there was contact there. Wolf came right in front of Carr and probably didn't expect that. And Wolf went a bit wide himself and came back on track, lucky to avoid any contact as well. And let's see, as we're now on to the final lap of this race, and here is your race leader, Mikolos Gal, who took the lead after James Willis, who attempted the 3-stop strategy. It didn't work for him, and he has kept the lead so far all race, and it has worked out very well for him. But at the moment, Florian Volker, who's running in P2, he is set to take the championship with Evan Byrne in third, and I believe he might take third in the championship from Joseph Willows there. Simply because Willows, I don't know if he's actually running on the points. I know he's running on the edge, and yes, he is. He actually is running in 8th place. But at the moment, Florian Volker is going to be your 2011 champion, as Mikolos Gal is now coming down the left-hander, and he is going to come around the final corner. It's been a somewhat good season with Gal, although he's been unhappy with McLaren due to the bad strategies that they have given him. He's won one race so far this season, and now he is set to take a second. He's currently 5th in the championship, and he will stay there as Mikolos Gal now comes down the final straight, and Mikolos Gal is going to win the Brazilian Grand Prix, the last race of the season. Congratulations to him. But as we come down, here is Florian Volker. He's in 2nd place. He's only won 2 races this season, but he's been Mr. Consistency once again. Only 2 race wins, but Florian Volker is your 2011 champion. And there is the confirmation. What a fantastic season it has been for him. And Florian Volker is your champion. There it is. What a race he's had. Everything went his way. He ran in 2nd place. James Willis' strategy did not work out for him at all. And he has taken 2nd place. He overtook Byrne and jumped him after the last set of stops. And that was vital in confirming that Volker would be champion. Unfortunately for Willows, in what will be his last race in the series as well, he will not get a title. And Volker beats his teammate there. But there is your confirmation. Evan Byrne, I believe, will be in 3rd place. James Willis, I believe, will be in 4th. with Robert Ionescu 5th, but it has been a fantastic race. Not been the most thrilling of races, but it's still been a pretty good one nonetheless. But there is your confirmation. Byrne is in 3rd, James Wills is in 4th, Robert Ionescu is in 5th, so a great race by Ionescu. That early pit stop to Inters certainly worked out well for him, but Florian Volker, congratulations to him. He is the champion, and he's the first consecutive champion in the OC. He won last season in 2010, and now he's won here in 2011. And it will be Volker and Gal at Red Bull. That will be a dominating force in the series. I can't see many of the top teams, Ferrari or McLaren, trying to beat that. But what a race and what a season it has been. But here is your full race results. Nicholas Gal won the race with Florian Volker 2nd, Evan Byrne 3rd, James Wills 4th, Robert Ionescu 5th, and Wade Cooper the last one on the lead lap with Alex Southgate and Joseph Wills completing the points. With Jamie McKenzie, Viggo Holst, Michael Mocho, Felix Santos, Sean Grant, Adam Moore, 5th with Hussein, Armcar, Sam Thompson, Roman Quark, Bruno de Barros, and George Wright finishing, with Lucas Levi and Moitin the only 2 drivers to retire. But James Williams was actually the fastest car on track in the drive, with Volker 2nd, Gal 3rd, Byrne 4th, Southgate 5th, Ionescu 6th, Levi 7th, Roke, Holst, Grant, Kuba, Josie Willis, Biffy Harkazane, Roland Moitin, Jamie McKenzie, Armar Cars, Felix Sontag, Michael Mocho, Roman Quark, Adam Wolf, Sam Thompson, and Bruno de Barros. So that has been the Brazilian Grand Prix. So now here are the final driver standings. Volker wins the title with 99 points, who is in fact 9 points ahead of James Wills in 2nd place. Evan Byrne did pit Joseph Wills to 3rd with 87 points to 85, just 2 points in that. Nicolas Gal, who went up to 72 in 5th. Wade Cooper, a disappointing season in 6th, nearly pit by Alex Southgate in fact. In 7th, Felix Sontag in 8th. Viggo Holst in 9th, and Robert Ionescu actually jumped all the way up to 10th with that 5th place. He just had a good end of the season. George Wright in 11th, Armcar in 12th, Jamie McKenzie 13th, Moitin 14th, Ricky Carson 15th, Adam Wolf 16th, Lucas Levi 17th, Renzi Jans 18th, Roman Quark 19th, Sean Grant 20th, with Sam Thompson, Xavier Quinlan, Michael Mocho, and Bruno de Barros scoring no points. So Red Bull were the Constructors' champions, ahead of McLaren in 2nd place, Ferrari in 3rd, Mercedes in 4th, Force India in 5th, Toro Rosso in 6th. They pit Renault as well in the constructor standings to 6th place. Sauber are in 8th, Williams are in 9th, Lotus are in 10th, and Virgin are 11th with 2 points, meaning all constructors have scored a point this season. Well, that has been the 2011 season. It's amazing how quickly it's gone through. Thank you all for watching, and I'd like to give a few personal thanks. I'd like to give a thanks to Yeri for hosting the series and allowing me to commentate. It's been a fantastic series to commentate on, and it's getting better and better each year. More people signing up, so thank you very much for that. Thank you very much to Felix Sontag and the Grime Lloyd for doing the wiki, and Felix for doing the facts and various stats for the races. I'd like to give a thanks to all you guys for signing up, and for you guys also for watching this series. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and we will see you for the 2012 series in a couple of weeks' time for preseason testing. Thanks for watching, and we will see you there. Adios!